So Season 1 starts tomorrow, perhaps even as of watching this video, it may be live for you depending on when you catch up with it. But today, I want to take a bit of time to talk about a top-level foundational update and those coming to the game, and then come back to the more specific and minute details about the update as a whole tomorrow with the update itself when it goes live, including things like weapon tuning, specific features and fixes added, and more. But today, I want to lay out the groundwork of what's to come here in the next 24 hours for you for Black Ops 6 multiplayer, zombies, and Warzone. So as we go along, drop your thoughts down below. What do you think of these changes? Anything in particular you're looking forward to jumping into? Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and make sure to subscribe to stay up to date with all things Black Ops 6. We're now just over 2,000 subscribers away from that milestone of 600,000 subscribers. So if you're part of that nearly 75% of viewers not subscribed, you'd like to join us on that road to 600,000, I'd love to have in the community. But for now, let's get into it. So let's start out with Black Ops 6 here, the top level things, the pillars of the game being introduced. First and foremost, there's not going to be as much here in multiplayer and zombies as opposed to the Warzone stuff we'll touch on in a second, but for multiplayer in particular, events are going to be coming here, which is something that I am greatly looking forward to. The hit list event is coming sometime in the launch window. It's not yet specified as of recording this when exactly that will be, but shortly after the launch. Could be the same day, delayed by a few hours after the update rolls out like we've seen with ranked play, or it could be a few days later. Honestly, it might be a safe bet to assume that it's next week's weekly playlist update that adds this in, that allows all this new content for Warzone, multiplayer, and a little bit of zombie stuff, allowing time for players to get acclimated with all of that, then adding even more stuff as we go along in about a week's time. But again, right now, no ETA on that. These will be thematic things throughout each of the seasons upcoming and introduce new items, and right now it seems like we'll be seeing new weapons, and it also appears like the new perk of Shadow as well as the streak of the hand cannon will be introduced with this, as evidenced by the mention from Treyarch over on Twitter earlier today. So events are coming back, very excited for that kind of stuff. Love those in Modern Warfare 3, one of my favorite parts about the multiplayer and post-launch experience. Then the introduction of events in Black Ops 6 also then calls for the introduction a little later on down the line of the Armory. This will go live in Season 1 Reloaded when post-event content is available to unlock. So it has to be after that event when items are made available. The hit list event being the only event going until mid-season. Everything else in Season 1 will follow after the mid-season update. But once that concludes, any functional piece of content like a weapon or a perk or a streak that you did not get the opportunity to earn in that event will then go as a repository into the Armory, where you can end up activating items and earning it via XP, requiring you to only play the game, whether that be Warzone, zombies, or multiplayer, doesn't matter. Ranked play will also be coming here with launch. This is the return of ranked play and the ability to play the competitive maps and modes and all that stuff, working your way through the ranks and exclusive rewards. Not so much brand new to the franchise. Obviously, we've had ranked play plenty of times, and especially in the iteration that we have now. There have been some adjustments made to this, which we've already discussed, so we won't go too far into that. But this is new for Black Ops 6, another key pillar being added into the multiplayer experience coming with Season 1. And then zombies with Season 1 will introduce the directed mode here. Of course, we have all that content coming at mid-season, the new augments and things like that, new perks, the new map, everything that comes along with the major zombies updates at mid-season. But for the launch here, the directed mode is being introduced, which will guide you through each of the Easter eggs on Terminus as well as Liberty Falls, which can be pretty nice and pretty accessible to the average player here at this. But the one thing that this means is that you also won't be able to get the exclusive calling cards for completing the Easter egg after the directed mode is introduced here. So if you have the opportunity in the next 12 hours or so, depending on when this video goes live and when you see it, try and knock that out if you guys care about those Easter eggs at all. They can be done relatively quickly. There's a lot of great tutorials out there by some of the great zombies YouTubers in the community. But anyways, that's the Black Ops 6 sort of foundational things and key pillars of the game that are being added in. Warzone, though, is where the biggest game changes come into play naturally, because the existing experience we have right now, as of 12 to 15 hours before the update goes live, kicking off Season 1, well, it's going to change almost entirely once this update does come into play. Earlier today, we got a blog post detailing all of these changes here, and one of the biggest ones out of this was progression. Prestige is present for the first time in Warzone's history. Up until this point, from Modern Warfare 2019 and the introduction of Warzone in 2020, up until this past year, all you had to do was complete levels 1 to 55, and then the seasonal prestige system didn't reset you at all. It instead just added more levels to grind each season. Now with prestige being present here and 10 prestiges to go through, until you hit master prestige, prestiging could present a massive obstacle with the relocks and the resetting of everything in your progression track. Perks, weapons, equipment, wildcards, all of that kind of stuff is going to be relocked when you end up starting over on a new prestige at level 1. Now, the nice part, the silver lining, if you will, is that the battle pass, we have some 14 weapons with blueprints that will also act as permanent unlock tokens for those base weapons associated with those blueprints. And that's on top of any of the Vault Edition or campaign skins you earned if you either purchased that Vault Edition or you unlocked them via the campaign and single player mode. So as time rolls on, weaponry at least will be a bit more inconsequential on the progression and relocking factor, but up front, recognize that you might have some barriers in place with some of the loadouts you want to use. Then, I wasn't really sure where we could put this, so I figured progression and stat-related stuff could also go hand in hand here at this one, but leaderboards are also going to be wiped and reset with Black Ops 6's integration, so you can now race for the top of your friends list or global lists if you're a huge grinder like that, but that will also be adjusted here come the update and Season 1. Loadouts will end up having a bunch of things changed here at this, where one thing we'll cover in depth tomorrow, so stick around for this, is the full patch notes of everything that changed, including weapon tuning and other specifics like that. But one of the big things that changed was the way Gunsmith works for Black Ops 6 now also applies to Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 weaponry, where applying current adjustments and adding them to legacy weapons means things like the barrel and stock attachments for Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 weapons have also had their penalties reduced. So whereas Black Ops 6 has a lot of those attachments that don't really do any cons, that's the same way now for a lot of weapons here going into Warzone of legacy weapons. Global weapon builds are also being added in here at this. Hasn't been stated if it's going to be across all the weapons just yet, or if it's only a Black Ops 6 thing. I would imagine based off of some other things that are only Black Ops 6 related, that is also only Black Ops 6, but we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, a Warzone Mastery camo is a brand new pillar being added in for the first time in Warzone's history. So this means that in the past, people who say we're just on the free-to-play version of the game but wanted to get the multiplayer camos like Damascus, DM Ultra, Atomic, Orion, and Interstellar camos, you could end up progressing those, albeit a way longer grind than in multiplayer. You could do those in Warzone. Now that's no longer going to be the case. Anything you progress in Warzone will go towards the Abyss Mastery camo. So anything done in Warzone BR, Resurgence, or in the Plunder modes and subsequent LTMs, that will be going towards the Abyss Warzone specific Mastery camo. Additionally, wildcards and the return to single weapon loadouts are coming with the integration. Modern Warfare 3 this past year streamlined and defaulted overkill. You could take 2 primary, 2 secondaries, however you wanted to do this. You could take 2 weapons that could be any of those weapons across all that were unlocked. That's now no longer going to be the case. Overkill is going to be a wild card carrying over from Black Ops 6 that if you want to take 2 weapons, you're going to have to equip that. You can then equip 2 primaries or 2 secondaries if you decide to have overkill, but only with that. So this means the 2 loadout meta strategy might actually be returning here. Gunfighter is also coming over to Warzone's loadout and create a class options, where this will allow you to have 3 extra attachments on your primary weapon. Now, the big question that a lot of people had before this and was actually answered officially is this is only applicable to Black Ops 6 weapons. A huge distinction here that does not allow Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 3 weapons to also have the availability for 8 attachments on them. So kind of harkening back to the differentiation between Modern Warfare 2019 and Cold War as well as Vanguard weapons in the sort of Warzone 1 era, but not quite exactly. Then we will also see that Warzone exclusive wildcards are making an introduction in this integration. Bandolier and Battle Ready are also going to be 2 additional wildcards coming, where a loadout with Bandolier will provide a munition satchel, and a loadout with Battle Ready will provide a UAV and utility box. So a huge benefit here with this, that anytime you pick up your loadout, you'll automatically get a UAV at your disposal. That's pretty powerful. Perks, some new, some are adjusted, but they can also be changed in the pregame lobby individually now, not having to select perk packs as you did the last 2 years. Movement obviously will be something that has changed, where you have all of the Omni movement at your disposal. Omni movement, all that maintaining the same momentum and sprints, supine prone, intelligent movement, all that kind of stuff. But the big one here for movement, I think that a lot of people are going to enjoy, is unlimited tac sprint. This is accessible in 2 different ways, either one with the sprinter perk or by holding your dedicated melee weapon that was introduced within Black Ops 6 here. So whether that be the bat or the combat knife or any of the melees of the carver or the power drill in Season 1 here, you can end up getting unlimited tac sprint. Some further movement adjustments come down to tac sprint's duration being doubled from 2 seconds to 4, that being without the perk or your melee weapon out, just sort of tac sprinting by default. And the landing shock was decreased a bit, where like if you jumped and you took damage, it would give a sort of shell shock effect where it stuns you for a second. That's been reduced in a number of different ways. Vehicles were also changed with Black Ops 6's integration here at this, where it is going to remove the flat tire and the repairing mechanics, and also it removed the need for fuel. So you're not going to need to stop at any gas stations or anything like that, which is a big change for traversal, I think. The inventory systems, as we've talked about before, it removed the backpack system, so you now end up automatically picking up ammunition, and there's now only set number of things you can end up picking up at a time. New satchels for ammunition and armor exist, where it will give you the option to take more of one or the other, but not both like you could with the backpack system. Combat, the body shield is coming over, and shootable doors are coming as well. So a lot of this stuff persisting from Black Ops 6. And the last thing that was mentioned here, which I saved until the end because like a lot of people, it's the whole system itself of Ricochet anti-cheat is kind of a joke. And I know it sucks. It's not the best. It definitely needs work, but on paper, they did mention some things that are definitely pretty nice. They're going to be going after better AFK detection so that people aren't AFK for as long. And then the biggest one is they're going after ways to mitigate VPN use to end up getting into better lobbies to combat that sort of cheating element of it. And that's something that I'm sure a lot of people will get behind and say, hey, that's great to hear. Although on the same hand, a lot of people probably aren't. For me, don't care one way or the other, but they are taking aim at another set here of things to sort of combat. Will you get banned for it? Probably not, but it is something that they're going to start mitigating that in matchmaking. Anyways, though, that is how Black Ops 6 is entirely changing the game from both Black Ops 6's multiplayer and zombies experience, but more specifically and in a larger capacity, Warzone as a whole, how it's changing just about everything. Again, tomorrow we're breaking down the full patch notes, all the weapon tuning, all the minute details and features that you may have missed, and talking about it as a whole. But for now, that's where we're gonna wrap it up. Final video before Season 1. Let me know your thoughts down below. What are you guys looking forward to? Any of these changes coming, or not so much? Let me know if you guys enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful. Do me a favor, drop a like on it. And of course, if you are new to the channel, you'd like to join us on that road to 600,000 subscribers, I'd love to have in the community. Hit that subscribe button. For now, thanks so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care, and peace.